Ready?
Yep.
All right, cool. So I have the privilege today, got Winston in for a seminar at the gym. And so as soon as he's here doing a seminar, I figured we'd get him in, sit him on the couch and have a chit chat. Really, I think the easiest thing is I can sort of I'll get Winston to introduce himself, obviously, but for me, Winston, I said to the guys when we're having the seminar and telling everyone you're coming in, I always say that Winston, you were my first instructor to sort of really open my mind and kind of really reiterate to me that one thing
It's not enough, yeah.
is not enough,
Yeah.
and to really because I remember what happened. So I would go back to, I was in a band, and the bass player was learning karate.
Okay.
The band sort of broke, and the bass player was doing karate, and it was just starting to be the place I used to go as a kid.
Okay.
So we went back and did it for a bit.
Yeah.
And little did I know I was predicting the future, because I was already a black belt karate. I got a black belt when I was at 1989.
Okay.
But I went back, and of course I wore a tracksuit because I didn't have a gi or anything. And so I was down at the bottom with the white belts and the new guys. And then when we thought I would into it, I'll get a gi, and the guy that was running the gym was one of the guys that I maybe got my black belt with.
Oh right, okay. So he was
10 years previous.
He was a peer.
So I knew him.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh no, I'll get you a gi and all that." I'm like, "Yeah, but he goes, "Oh no, you're a black belt." And then so what happened? I got my gi.
Yeah.
And of course, I got my black belt, and then I'm up the other end. And they're like, "What?" I said, "I just took a course. Just took a fast track course." And little did I know this is what people would do.
Yeah.
But then what happened is a friend of mine I was doing karate with, him and the other guy would go to a kickboxing place, like a kickboxing class.
Yeah.
And I was going to start this kickboxing, like PKA kickboxing or whatever.
Okay, I've heard of it.
But what we really wanted to do, because we was always into music and stuff, we wanted to do the Bruce Lee stuff.
All right.
And one of the guys there was doing the kickboxing got heard of your
my place.
class,
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, let's try and find this.
Yeah.
Let's try and find that." So I never did the kickboxing. I went from the karate
Straight into the JKD.
to come to you to learn the JKD and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're the first guy to sort of like.
Who did you come with? Who was it?
Remember the guy Paul? You remember Paul?
Yes. What, big muscle Paul?
No.
Oh, another guy with black hair.
Dark,
Yeah. And he didn't take to it, but you did.
Yeah, well,
It was weird. Yeah.
The thing with me is like, as a kid, I watched the classic Bruce Lee movies and stuff.
Right.
Before we started training with you, we was getting all the books, so we had all the fighting methods.
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do. We had
Right.
reading
Right. You had all the material.
With, like the Kempo gloves.
Yeah. The Bruce Lee Kempo. Yeah.
Which, kind of got laughed off. But yeah. So
How did I get started?
What did you start in? What martial art did you start in, and when was it? And
I started when I was in secondary school, which they call high school now. Yeah. I was in my third year. In the third year, you had an option of sports. In the first and the second year, it was football or rugby. When I got to the third year, there was football, rugby or judo. And I went, no, judo, I want to do judo, because at that time, Bruce wasn't out yet. It was Sean Connery, James Bond. And I watched You Only Live Twice, I think it was. And halfway through that, he had to go to Japan and learn martial arts. And I'd never seen this before. And I saw these guys kicking and rolling and everything. I was like, wow, I want to do that. So the next thing I heard of was a judo. And I thought, what is that? But that sounds a bit like what I saw in the film. So as I got to the third year, they said you had a choice of judo. I thought, oh, thank God. So I joined it. And there was no form of kicking. It was just holding and throwing and everything. But I stuck with it for the year, and I got a yellow stripe. But I said, no, this is not really what I wanted. I wanted all the punching and the kicking side of thing. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said there's a karate class in Westbourne Grove. So I said, really? Where is it? And he took me there, and it was exactly what I wanted. There was about 20 people there. No, there was more than 20, because by then Bruce had been everywhere and everybody was joining clubs. So it was a packed class on a Saturday afternoon. So I went down there. I stayed there for about 5 to 7 years. I got my black belt there. It wasn't karate, it was taekwondo. It was the club was called Wushu Kwan. And as I got higher up in the ranks, I found out that it was very popular throughout London. There was clubs everywhere for it. So the thing I liked was on our when you did a grading, you had to go to a different club, and after you've done your form and your kind of preset movements, you'd have to spar. And I didn't like to spar against the guys in my club because I knew them.
Yeah.
So at a different club, they always paired you up with a stranger, and I just think, I'm going to kick the shit out of this guy, you know. So you would pair up and you would kick and block and kick and block. There's hardly any punches. So after about 3 or 4 years of that, once I got my black belt, I went back to my club, and I realised that we were just doing the same thing again, over and over again. And I started thinking, no, I want to use my hands more. I want something to kind of show me how to use my hands. So I dropped out of the club, and I stopped for a while because I was kind of looking for something. Then I remembered that Bruce did Wing Chun. So I found a Wing Chun class, which was in Shepherd's Bush with Derek Jones. He called it Body, Mind and Spirit, because he was trying to pull away from the kind of Wing Chun thing, because there was a kind of a Wing Chun war at that time. There was certain clubs competing against each other.
Sounds like a great name for a movie.
Sorry?
Sounds like a great name for a movie.
Yeah.
Wing Chun War.
Wing Chun Wars, yeah. So I joined up with him, and I stayed with him until he died, because he had a bike accident and died. And that really was great, because it taught me how to use my hands at a close range. Then I heard about Jeet Kune Do. I didn't know that it was Bruce Lee's art at the time. All I heard was that there was a guy up in Old Street called Bob Breen.
This would be a different
time,
a different world, because
totally
not like,
different.
Oh, where can I go and train?
No, there was no apps or
like a paper or magazine.
The only magazine at the time was Fighting Arts, and there was advertising in there, but it was more for up north.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot for down in London, so it was purely by kind of word of mouth. And I heard about Bob Breen, and I phoned up, and I spoke to his wife at the time, Linda, and she was really nice. I said, oh yeah, there's this and there's that, and we do sticks and we do knives. I thought, wow, this sounds really, really, really cool. And she actually said, there's a seminar here with the head instructor, which was Dan Innocento. So she said, why don't you come down? And I said, but I don't know anything. And she said, no, just come on down and have a watch and have a listen. So I did that, and I was hooked, especially on the sticks. So I joined Bob's class, and I stayed there for about 10 years. Bob...
Because Bob would have the first sort of...
He was...
one of the first sort of full-time sort of places.
Yeah, Bob had... he called it the Academy, and it was full-time. I mean, I was there Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings, it was kind of like an open mat. You could kind of go there, pair up with anybody and just, go through drills or spar or, stuff like that. I learned a hell of a lot from Bob, and it was from him that I got a go-ahead to actually do my own class. because I was West London and Bob was like Central, and it was a bit of a way to travel. I did actually for the first year. I taught his 6 weeks course. He did a beginner's 6 weeks course up on the roof, and I used to take him up there and I taught him a bit of everything of the syllabus, and then from then, if they really wanted to stay, then they would go to the beginner's class with Bob.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. Then I opened up my own a little class, and that's when you came along.
But that's it. We didn't really know really what to expect. We didn't really expect any of like the Kali or any of this kind of thing. We just thought,
It'd be
stuff,
yeah.
So that for me was a bonus. Really.
The Kali was more from Dan Innocento, because he taught Jun Fan, which is the first part of the whole kind of JKD heritage. Then you would because a lot of people don't understand what a JKD is. They think it's a system, but it's not. It's a way of building your attributes and learning some more, basically. And then it's down to you. Once you've had a period of time in it, you start to grow and you start to find your own things which you already know.
That's what I think was. Maybe that's for me. That's kind of what was different to other things that I did.
To the karate and everything, yeah.
Like karate and stuff like that was very systematic.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you do this for that, and you do this and this and this, and then you just move up the
grades and the belts. Yeah.
That's it.
Karate's great. I mean, it is good, especially for kids, because it gives them the discipline and everything. But then once you're older, you want to grow.
Yeah, it seemed to be at the time, but for us, it was more like more freedom in it.
Yeah.
If like you was, you could grab a section of it
and
really,
go with it.
You could be you could be like a stick guy, couldn't you? Be a double stick guy.
Yeah,
a
knife guy, a grappling guy, a boxer, a kickboxer, which is nice.
What would for me would be like, even once we came to you, and then it wasn't like, right, that's it, I'm the guy you need to learn from, that's it, It was always like, right, there's a seminar, you'll take us to Bob's, there'll be seminars going on, and we end up, even like, even when I would eventually go and train with Eric, it was only through like coming to you, going, oh look, I got this tape, and we learned stuff, and you go train. You would never like, oh no, don't go train.
No, I don't believe in that.
Broad-minded, and that's what I said. You're the first person to sort of open my mind. And
the thing is, I don't believe in, if you've got a guy who's good and you are teaching him. To me, it's like my son, and if I can put that child with a person who's better than me or can show him more, he's got a different way of things, then I'll say go, learn from him. Because like, you need to grow. I can't show you everything. I can show you what I know. But then if somebody's got a different way or a different art which you're interested in, I'm not going to hold you back and say, no, stay with me. You need to grow. And like now, I can learn things off of you. A lot. So, that's how I see it. It kind of goes around and comes around, Well,
for me, again, that's why I try and bring you in today, is because I've been lucky enough to have like I always consider like this, like what we're now October. So for me, it's great that like you're in tonight. I got my jiu-jitsu professor in Zay next week.
Right.
And in December, I've got what I would consider my MMA coach,
right.
Eric. Over in December.
Yeah.
So I would always put you free as my main
I understand
to what I do in my art. But I'm not sure if it'll be any different, because it's a little bit different landscape now. But back then, there wasn't that many full-time places. now there's like the MMA
There's
is very
loads.
popular and
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's a little different, so it's a bit more accessible now.
Yeah.
It's like even like the way we found you was through going from not liking this place to going to this place to hearing about your place, and then you would then say, oh yeah, this is there, this is there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of just getting on my phone
And just phoning up.
finding where you were.
You had to do a lot of walking, a lot of
It's
talking.
almost like I had a bunch of like free, or at least with Zay and Eric, they were long distance relationships.
Yeah.
So we'd go grab that information, bring it back and train it.
Yeah.
Grab that information, bring it back and train it.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
it's a lot more easier. There's
go get it easier.
online courses and that, it's more accessible and easier.
And I
Back
think
in our
the
day.
only problem I see with that now is it's because if you're not happy in one spot, it's easy just to go to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But this is why, like for me, like I like to get you in every now and then when I can.
Yeah.
I get, like you three. So you, Zay, and Eric are the guys that I will always try to get in to show everybody where I got it from, and still like even though just to show my
Your
appreciation.
heritage and where you come from. Yeah, that as well, which I think is really good. Because like a lot of people that you have taught in the past, they just go. I mean, Bob's got a lot of guys that it was his 70th last weekend. I couldn't go because I was working, which is a damn shame. But like there was a lot of people turned up for that, friends and also old time black belts of his. But I still know the ones that I took my grading with. I haven't seen them for ages or years,
Well, I think it's one of those things. Martial arts is one of those things that will either you can. Well, that's I think the beauty of the martial art. It can be a hobby, can't it? It can be like
it can be a hobby, but
it can. That you don't. You pick up, put down, pick up, put down, or you can really dive into it.
Yeah.
And
it becomes your life.
Make it your life's work. Sort of thing,
I mean, some people do this. They turn it into their life and they make a living out of it. Some people do it to keep them sane. Some people do it like, I haven't got a big class, but even if I didn't have a class, I'd still be doing it. I'll be doing it because it keeps me healthy, it keeps me sane, but also I'm getting older and there's a lot in it that you can do which you don't have to beat yourself up at. You don't have to do heavy sparring. You don't have to go and do like 40 push-ups or something. You can do other things in the art which keeps you comfortable, loose and everything. I mean, my wife is always talking about pains in her knees and everything. I don't get that. And we're a year apart, and it's just because I just do a bit every day. I just do a little bit. I don't have to do 2 hours or something, just do a bit. That way it keeps my head in contact, it keeps me flowing and everything's fine. I mean, now I'm more focused on the Indonesian arts, the silat and Chamundi, all those kind of silat arts, which I find really interesting. They kind of keep me supple as well. I've tried some yoga, but sometimes it's a bit tame, but theirs is quite strenuous and I find that really, really good. So now I'm just doing it for me more. I've got a group, I call them a group, I wouldn't call it a class. I've got a group of guys that are loyal, turn up, and I teach them, but at the same time I experiment with them. They say, yeah, that's fine. So we try out things that I've seen or that I want to try. Sorry. And then we try out things that I come up with to see if it's practical or not. I'm more leaning towards because now, today, in this country, there's so much knife violence and everything, and the young kids and that. I'm more leaning towards the self-defense side, trying to find things that are practical, not too fancy, that are straightforward and basic. Because I feel like, because I've got daughters, and they're 20s, and I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. So I'm trying to find basic things and basic tools, legal tools. I don't mean like knives or anything, but things that you normally would have on you, like a baseball cap, a belt, you know, a bag, a rucksack, how to use it in a situation on the street, which is really basic, not fancy like the Jackie Chan movies or something, you know.
So you think that's like that again, that kind of like open philosophy, like of the Jeet Kune Do style, sort of approach to it all, that makes you, even though you've been training martial arts for years,
Yeah.
you're still exploring.
Yeah.
Trying to
You're not told to learn.
different little things
And
to tweak it all.
you need to do that, because after a while it becomes you. Like, how can I explain? All right, you've got BJJ, and everybody's doing BJJ, but not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their different quirks, their different little bits that they can do that another person can't do.
Yeah.
And that's through just doing it and finding it and thinking, oh, okay, this is me. I can do this. Right, and it works, great. That's me. And that's what it should be like. You should keep on experimenting, looking at things, trying it out, seeing if it works or if it doesn't, and then add that to your arsenal. Because it's like being in an army, yeah? You've got the person up front who is the scout. You've got the person with the controls to actually call up the Air Force to come and bomb that place. You need things like that in your game. Yeah, you need the big guy who's got the big artillery stuff. You need a sniper, and you need so it's like that. You've got to, in your world, in your art or arts, you need to have that kind of arsenal going for you, so that you can say, okay, yeah, this is a situation. I've got this. I've got that, you know. That also builds up your confidence.
Yeah, and I guess like...
and then you don't have to prove yourself.
Yeah, I guess as well, like the older you get, or each, you know, your body changes,
Yeah.
Your ideology changes, the way you think of your training.
Change is good.
So you've got to keep...
Yeah,
flowing with that,
adapting with it,
yeah.
but at the same time, know your foundations, you know where you actually come from, and like you have just said, there's me, Eric and Zay, you know, you have that, you hold on to that, but at the same time, you grow, you learn different things, you change a little bit, but it doesn't pull you away from your foundations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I always think that, like, I mean, for me, I've not really, I think that's the beauty of like having the MMA now, because what I kind of considered it, like a lot of, especially nowadays with the MMA world, it's not necessarily about, like, it can get misinterpreted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, MMA is that.
Right,
It's
yeah.
the best martial art.
yeah.
It's not a martial art.
No, I
It's a
know what you
sport.
mean, yeah.
And it's an individual thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's a different, different expression of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably, I would personally say that the MMA now is really JKD.
Right.
I personally, because
Right.
they're trying to, you're
Yeah.
trying to be a complete martial artist.
Yeah.
That's what it was always about.
You're
like,
covering all the
even
corners.
though like if people are training MMA, it's not a complete art, is it? Because you don't do any weaponry.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So it's
true.
not a complete art if you...
It's a complete unarmed
Yeah.
art, yeah, but it's not.
So.
Yeah.
But again, you could argue that because there's rules, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. But like when it actually started back in the day, you had all of the karate guys and the
Yeah, it was
and the
styles,
tar.
right? It was
Yeah, it was all styles, and then they realised, oh shit,
We need to
I need to do this. Oh, I haven't got that ground game. Oh, I can't kick, so I need to do some kicking. And then slowly over the years, it changed, and they
evolved.
realised,
Like
yeah,
now the wrestlers are back in the game.
yeah,
But then at one point it was striking.
Yeah.
So, because I joked when when Conor McGregor won,
yeah,
like not joke, but when Conor McGregor won the title,
Yeah.
I put the Jeet Kune Do symbol up
All right.
and saying, "Oh, Bruce would be proud."
Yeah.
Because obviously he's from like the Straight Blast Gym, which is
Yeah.
a JKD
Yeah.
lineage, right? They got,
Yeah.
you know, Matt Fulton.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Shadows,
But he
would
came
learn
from the
in the
JKD.
Sano,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
JKD world.
Yeah.
So I think for me, you know, it's like when you see him commentating on like when they're doing a oblique kick or something.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I've never seen it. It's Carling.
Yeah.
Right? It's Carling. It's like that's what.
Yeah.
But
It's but I mean, Bruce was doing this when he was alive. He was doing exactly what we're talking about. He was experimenting with things. He would copy all of the boxers at the time, you know, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray and all those guys. He would go and train with northern Chinese guys who did a lot of kicking, pick the things that works for him, bring it back to himself and practice them, you know. So it's not a thing that's just came out of. No, it is new. Yeah. It's only made public now.
So you've sort of been through a landscape of, like really the biggest thing I think is like a technology change.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of, when I started martial arts as a kid, we didn't have the technology.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped and then got back into it. But even in the early stages of when I was training, there was a little bit of internet coming.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would find.
Yeah.
I would first find, I'll get in touch with Eric through a videotape with Leo Bob's.
Yeah.
And I'll grab that, and you know, because I used to get on the train, go up to Tower Sports.
Yeah.
And grab a videotape.
Oh yes, bring it back.
Take a
picture. Yeah.
So then, and really the internet back then was just like an online Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
And then I would bump into Eric in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
At an inner centre seminar.
Yeah.
Rick Young would put on.
Yeah.
So you've been you was longer in the martial arts before
all that.
Like the technology.
Yeah.
So what have you seen like the changes?
The changes I've seen is now, the main one is the online courses. It's an okay thing, but back in the day, you had to go somewhere to train, and there was an instructor there, and he was there, and you could ask him questions, and he would show you what you were doing wrong. The online courses are great and everything, but you don't get that contact. You can't get that contact with your instructor, with the guys who were also doing the same thing. That's the only thing. I mean, I might do an online course for a couple of months, but then I might stop and think, okay, I need to talk to him, or I want to talk to somebody about it. And there isn't really anyone. You have to get in contact by either online typing or by getting a phone number. That changes as I think everybody's wants a quick fix. Everybody wants to learn something quick. They don't want to put in the time, you know. They don't want to like spend time, pay their dues basically, yeah. Because I mean, the only place I've seen is like here and Max's gym, and a lot of the BJJ classes. Because as you know, to get your belt, you have to be there for like years.
Well, that's the thing.
It's time, putting in the time.
Sort of for me, that saves, which is saving the martial art world, is that because of the MMA, it's made obviously jiu-jitsu popular.
Yeah.
People training
Yeah.
MMA, Muay Thai, they're going to go to these arts, but I think the honest arts. You can't pretend
to do. Yeah, I mean back in my day,
you know what I mean?
They used to have people who were just kind of black belts, and then they were told by their instructor to go out, you know, get loads of people in, train them up, teach them the first grade, give them permission to open up their own class. Then when they got X amount of people in, I'll take their membership, and then I'll teach you the second grade, and you can put. It was like a triangle thing, and that was terrible. You know, it was just terrible.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like, I mean, for me, I never really wanted necessarily. I never set out to have a business in martial arts.
No,
It's just,
yeah,
it just happened to be that way. You'd be like, you know, because there was lack of places to train. You know, I come
Yeah.
to you, I come train around your house.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So it was just a case of right. I need more people to train with.
yeah. Exactly,
Right, come
exactly.
around my house, we go around
Yeah.
your house, we do this.
Yeah.
And then, there's
There
too
weren't
many
places,
to fit in
yeah,
here, we
yeah.
need to go there. And
This
it was
is-
just evolved, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the only thing that's saving sort of martial arts really is the honest arts like jiu-jitsu and the MMA side of things.
Yeah, even the karate now. I don't really in London. You don't hear of or see a lot of karate schools anymore.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day there was Shotokan,
I used to
Wadaroo.
go up to like I think like Great Russell Street
Yeah,
to this dojo there, and it was beautiful, man. Like, I always
Yeah.
remember like the really shiny wooden floor.
yeah.
Weird, but
I always looked for places that were rough and dirty.
okay.
When I went to Derek Jones, he was in a basement, and it was big enough, but it was kind of small. And I went down there. As I was going down the steps, I can smell the sweat, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then I got in there, and he didn't have a big class. He had about 8 to 10 people, but it was the walls, the condensation on the wall was dripping.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was a bit rough, and I thought, yeah, this is good. I can really, you know, kind of learn something here. And the good thing about him was he would do Chisao with all of you. He didn't just kind of watch. He would do Chisao with all of you, and he would be a bit hard on you to make you understand that it's not a game. It isn't a sport. It's like to help you protect yourself, you know. And that was great. That was really good. That was really good. So yeah, when I went to Bob's, slightly different atmosphere. A lot of people there, really friendly, but you saw them, or when they were doing like drills on the pads or kind of light type of sparring, you were like, oh, this is a lot more serious. But the thing I liked about Bob was you did sticks, you did boxing, you did knife, you did a double stick, and then when the MMA started to come in, then he slowly brought that into the class as well. You know, not Bob himself because of his hips and that, but there was other people there who were doing that. He would bring down Mark McFan, and he would come down and do some shots and everything, which was really great. You know.
But that's always what intrigued me with like, when I started training with you, would be the amount of seminars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to try and get information. It was great. And I still try to do that now.
Yeah.
You know, like try and get people in as much as I can.
Can,
I mean,
yeah.
Guys are a bit more reluctant to do seminars now because they got gyms everywhere 7 days a week.
Oh, right, I
So
see
it's
what
a
you mean.
little-
Yeah,
We was always
yeah.
hungry
To bring people
more
in.
information,
Yeah.
more information.
Yeah.
Right? But because we wasn't training every day and all the
Yeah.
day, it was a different.
It was a different time,
right?
yeah, different time.
So, but that's something I try to do, like like get you in tonight and do
Yeah,
stuff like this.
which is good, you know, which is good because the people that you have, they don't see other stuff.
Yeah.
They hear of it, but they don't see anybody doing it or explaining it and everything, because they come and they do their MMA, and that's fine. That is good, but you've got to say, well, yeah, this is great and everything, but let me just show you what I've done in the past or what I know is also good, you know.
Yeah, I think it's one thing I always picked up, like when we would go to train with like in Asano, would be to remember some of the history of it all.
Yeah.
You know, some of the just
Yeah.
because some people don't realise like certain things, like certain like techniques that all the arts have,
Yeah.
but they don't realise that.
Yeah. There's a common denominator.
This place,
Yeah.
that, all these places had that
Yeah.
a similar way of doing it, but they don't appreciate that. You know, there's just
That's what I found when I left the Wing Chun and I went to Bob's, and he he actually started to show me Kali, I found it quite easy to get into because Kali uses everything, both hands, elbows, knees, shoulders, everything.
Well, I would say Kali is probably one of the most complete arts there is, right?
Yeah.
From weapons
to
grappling,
empty hands and
striking,
everything. Yeah,
it's all there.
yeah, and that's why I love it because once you've spent time learning all of the basics, there ain't no rules to say you can't do that. If you flow in like hubud, yeah, and you put in an elbow or something, no one says, oh no, you can't do that, that's not the right way or anything. It's you, so you kind of flow with what you have. You know, sometimes you might not even realize that you're about to do it. It just happens. That means that you're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I always remember doing hubud in your house.
Yeah.
And I think I poked myself in the eye. I'm not in the eye. No, it's best time. Keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
It's best time. Keep going.
Yeah, that's what I say is get used to the mess, the confusion and the mess, because that's how it's going to be outside on the street. Yeah. And if you make a mistake and stop, no, that's wrong. You should carry on. Yeah. You should find the path again. You know, because that's what we're all trying to get to. You know, that if anything kicks off and there's a lot of you ain't going to panic in that explosion of confusion, mess.
Sounds like life.
Yeah, exactly.
The
yeah,
confusion of life, right?
Yeah, yeah. Living is hard. I'll tell you, living is hard. Yeah.
But okay, well.
Yeah, almost time.
We'll cut it. I'll endeavour to get you back in anyway.
Yeah, that's all right.
And chat some more because you got loads to chat about. But just thank you for coming in, and I'll formally thank you for opening my mind. As a youngster, well, I kind of was a youngster back then. And hopefully we'll crack on anyway. Get you some stuff tonight.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
in the future.
In the future, we get you back in here.
Yeah, okay.
Talk some more, but hopefully, also like, I'm hoping that I can carry on what you've taught me.
Yeah.
And
I've always said I've only got 3 guys who are classed as my top students, and you're one. Well, you are the main one.
I never got to
And then there was Simon Swadlin, who's now more of a musician, composer.
Yeah, I kind of...
Yeah, tall guy.
Yeah, I remember training with Simon.
Yeah.
Really good. But I remember seeing him wander back off into the music.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And the other one was... I've forgotten his name now. But anyway, I've only had 3 out of the time I've been teaching at the same place. I've been at this place for now almost 15, 20 years. Still there, still teaching new people. It's great. I like teaching people. But the best thing for me is to see them grow, like how you have. You know, see them get up there and really do things. I mean, I'm proud of you really so much because I know where you've come from, and to see you here now having all this, I think it's beautiful. Really is.
Well, it's not solely, but
I know what you mean.
Part in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So thanks very much, and I'll stick all the details on this video anyway, so
all right, cool.
People can come and find you and come and train and do all your good stuff. So thank you very much. We'll cut it there and we'll catch you later. Thank you.